Hey everybody, it's Randy with Carchaeology, and I'm going to take you with me on my weekend adventures in the Porsche 356. Starting out bright and early, and as they say, red skies in morning, sailor take warning. Red skies at night, sailor's delight, something like that. There is a storm a-brewing out there, and it's going to be interesting to see how much I can dodge the rain. But it did make for an absolutely incredible sunrise. Driving down the valley and starting out my trek down to Palm Springs was just fantastic. Got the drizzle flippers going to keep that rain off the windshield, and off I went through the hills. Now, I live in a very rural area, as you can see. This is kind of in my neighborhood, so to speak, and it is just packed full of incredible driving roads. Every time I'm in one of the cool cars and I'm out here driving around, I realize just how freaking lucky I am to live where I live and to be able to do what I do. So this is Highway 371 aiming up towards Anza, California. I'm driving through Anza over to Highway 74, which is called the Palms to Pines Highway, and I will be making a right on Highway 74 and aiming down into Palm Desert. And from Palm Desert, I will work my way on down to Palm Springs, where this event is starting. So here we are going up over the highest elevation there. There's obviously some trees and stuff there, and continuing on through the change of landscape. It really is an incredible road. There is a big area here where there was a fire earlier this year. It ended up blackening an awful lot of ground there, and it also loosened up a fair bit of dirt and rocks and stuff along the side of the road. So the rain through this area made for a little bit treacherous driving, but I managed to capture, well, just a little bit as I'm rolling along, and that way I can share it with you. So this real rocky area is super cool. This is right before you start going down into the desert, and the views are just incredible. Really a neat change in landscape from the palms to the pines, and in any sort of vehicle that's fun to drive, but certainly in something that handles nice and is a joyful machine. Well, it just makes it that much better. In any case, I have now made it to the lookout over the top of the Imperial Valley there. Unfortunately, it's so cloudy, you really can't see a whole lot down there, but it is awesome when it's clear, or at night you can see the lights of Palm Springs down below, and it is just absolutely incredible. And now going through the twistiest parts of Palms to Pines, there's a couple of corners that just seem to never end. And it's just awesome driving through them. Here's one of the really long corners. Check this out. Turn right, hold tight, and keep it going. In any case, traffic was light. Fortunately, I didn't have a whole lot of people back behind me. I'm not a fast driver. I'm not one to push the envelope when it comes to that. I like to make it to my destination. And here I am down in the valley here. This is Palm Springs, Palm Desert area, obviously. Or this is entering into Palm Desert. Now driving towards Palm Springs, some of the great architecture and signage and stuff. Lots of jewels down there. Such a beautiful place. And as I'm rolling along, I'm driving by Porsche of Palm Springs. And that's going to be my destination for the evening. There's going to be a big party there later on. But starting out, I joined up with the crew at the host hotel for the Porsche 356 Club Palms to Pines event. A bunch of the guys were there, lined up, people that had spent the night there. I was close enough to be able to just do the drive, and that was great. So getting all the cars lined up and ready for the daily drive was really cool. It's so fun to see this many 356s in one spot. And even though the threat of nasty weather was pretty high, there was still a pretty strong attendance to the event. Now, this is on a Friday right now. The main event really isn't until Saturday, but the Friday night party, which we will attend here in a little while, is awesome. And then the Friday drive ended up being the best drive, I think, of the weekend for everybody. And the vast majority of these cars here lined up to go for the run. So our plan for today's drive was to drive out to Joshua Tree area, and specifically an area called Pioneer Town. Pioneer Town is an old western town that was built for filming movies and things like that, and it's turned into a little bit of a tourist destination. There's a couple of great restaurants in there, including this one bar called Pappy and Harriet's, which is a bit of a legendary spot in the area. It's a really cool place that some pretty heavy stars have shown up to before, just randomly to play, which is really super fun. In any case, loved walking through, looking at the cars, each one of them a little bit unique, a little bit different. Loved the little fog lights on this particular one. They were so small, but so cool and so proper German. Then big lights on this one. And every car just a little bit unique. And that's what's fun about any of these old cars, really, is that you can build them the way that you want them. In any case, here, walking down the line, everybody's gathering. We've got sun to start our event, which is fantastic. The palm trees are swaying, but you can certainly see the dark clouds out back behind. So we are curious to see if we're going to be hitting rain along our trip. One of the club members showed up with a can of Rain-X for everybody to use on their windshields, which I thought was being well prepared. So folks were spraying their windows and making sure that they could see where they're going. In any case, great bunch of cars. A couple of later model ones showed up as well. I loved this particular 356 that obviously had been on its roof at one point, yet it was still there, still looking good, and still ready for the drive. So here you go. Pete is wiping down his windows, getting ready for the run. And there's my 356 amongst the group of shiny machines. So certainly my car stood out a little bit, but the people in the club are used to seeing it because I've come out to some other events as well. In any case, I snapped some still shots as well as some video. Some of it is shot vertically, so it's maybe cropping a little bit weird, but I decided to just kind of let it roll. And if you're not happy with the angle of my shots, well, then your money back is guaranteed because these videos are free. In any case, great bunch of people, super fun, and I love the variety again of all the different cars. So very quickly here, we're going to be hopping in the machines here and heading out to the desert. And I'm really, really looking forward to this. I've come down to this event before, but usually have just met them somewhere along the way. I haven't really gone on any of the big drives with the club, but now that my car is running and driving well, I'm certainly able to do that, and really excited about the opportunity of getting it out on the road and running it with all the other 356s. So here we are, cruising across the desert. You can see all the windmills and stuff outside of Palm Springs area. This great VW Spider we passed along the way. Again, cloudy skies. It made for a cool day, which is very nice for our air-cooled cars, certainly. And the threat of rain fortunately seemed to stay away. We had a few little sprinkles here and there, but nothing major, which was really, really awesome. Looking ahead, though, for the Saturday event, it looks like heavy rain is imminent, and there's just no way around it. So I'm really thinking at this point that only the Saturday or the Friday drive is going to be the one to hit. So I'm so glad I came down early to do that. Now we're on the way up into 29 Palms area, aiming towards Pioneer Town. There's something super fun about running in a group of similar cars. It's kind of a mind tweak as you're going along. But here we are making our entrance. That's Pappy and Harriet's on the left-hand side here at Pioneer Town. One of the guys here from the area is telling us that we should park around back. So I ended up kind of leading the way around the back side of the place so that we could park all of our cars in a line right out in front of where the old town is there. And the old town itself is actually really cool. Some of the places are open up as little stores. There's a little museum there that talks about the films and videos and things like that that have been shot out there at Pioneer Town. And we also realized as we're walking around that there was a big music event that was happening that weekend, starting on Friday night. A whole cool, like Western themed concert. There we go. There's the word happening, and people were getting fired up for that. We ended up listening to some of the sound checks of the bands while we were having lunch, and it really, really looked like it was going to be an incredible event. And so our stop there was not super long. We all kind of grabbed a bite to eat and checked out the place, walked around and saw the scenery, and then eventually got back on the road. But before diving into the restaurant with everybody else, I wanted to check out the museum and check out the sights there, so I'm going to take you on a quick little walk through the old town here. But quick look back at the cars all lined up. Pretty freaking awesome. So here is the film museum. So inside here you can see movie posters and still images and things like that of a ton of different movies that have been shot there at Pioneer Town. It's definitely a historic place at this point, but it's still getting used for modern music videos and films, and it's a perfect spot for that. It really, really is. It was cool to see the video that they had going there showing scenes from some of the films, as well as some of the other artifacts and ephemera. Lots of neat stuff kind of posed around the place. That ore cart there was cool. Some good old-fashioned hand-painted signage. I loved this rusty goat on top of one of the shops. I thought he was really super cool. And again, a lot of these shops are opened up as little curio shops or antique places, vintage clothing, pottery, things like that. Souvenirs, Pioneer Town souvenirs, of course. And there's other spots like the hay barn there that is used for special events. There's a couple of other restaurants and things there as well, or at least one other bar that I'm aware of. And it was cool to look around. They even have a little zoo there where you can feed the critters. I loved this guy wandering around. He was pretty cool. The chickens were all kind of hiding down low and trying to stay warm, fluffing up their feathers and staying out of the wind. This wagon here was certainly impressive. And again, the Pioneer Town Gazette, all of it's just super fun. Great hat in one of the shops there. I loved this shop. They had some cool cowboy wear, vintage stuff, as well as some modern things as well. Just a neat selection and a great smell inside the place for some reason. It just worked for me. Printing press out there in the yard was rusty but still looking cool. The liquor barn, you gotta love that. And again, back to our lineup of Porsches. So now everybody has arrived and everyone's starting to work their way down into the restaurant over at Pappy and Harriet's. And again, Pappy and Harriet's is a really neat place. I suggest you look it up. There's some awesome videos of big stars that have played at this place, including Paul McCartney and others, and it's just really cool. They've got a big pit barbecue, really good food. Here we are walking inside the place. It's properly rustic and cool. They've got a nice little bar there, good service. Outside they've got the larger music venue, but sometimes they play music inside as well. My buddy Pete and I grabbed a spot at the bar, ordered up a tri-tip sandwich and a beer, and definitely enjoyed our chat. But if you're in a rush, you're in the wrong place. This is a casual spot. It's all about fun. It's all about hanging out, enjoying the atmosphere. And that's what we did. So Orville Peck's Rodeo was the event that was going to be going on there this weekend. And I kind of wanted to hang out for it. But I was here for the drive. And the drive we're definitely in the middle of. So here we are taking off from Pioneer Town, making our drive out onto the highway. One of the local people suggested a real scenic route on the way back to Palm Springs, so we ended up going past Pioneer Town and then making a right on a road. I forget the name of it, something just past Bullwhip or something like that. And it ended up being this awesome little hilly, twisty, two-lane road, and our whole string of Porsches driving down it was absolute magic. I found myself at the tail end of a group of 5 red 356s, and I've got to say the view just absolutely tickled me going up and down and around these corners. It was like a glitch in the Matrix where I could see, these cars moving around in front of me, and hell, I'm driving one myself. So in any case, I really, really enjoyed that drive. Wasn't super long or super far out of the way, but there's nothing like getting in these cars and running them, especially out in the middle of nowhere with no traffic and some beautiful scenery to go by. So anyway, I love this video. This particular clip is really fun. I posted it up on Instagram, and it's done extremely well. In any case, as we continued our drive down back to the host hotel area, we would have some time before the evening's event. So a few people kind of split off at some point. By the time we got to town, everybody kind of went their own way just a little bit. And then the plan was all to regroup at Porsche Palm Springs for the evening party. So in any case, we definitely enjoyed the drive here. I'm sorry if this goes on quite a bit. I'm just kind of rambling through it, but the imagery hopefully pleases you greatly. It certainly did me. All right, so now we are making it farther down. We're almost into 29 Palms area here. Fairly quickly, we're going to make a right here on the main highway and start our drive back into civilization. So I don't know exactly how many cars we had total on that run. I really didn't count, but it was awesome.
Too damn fun.
Very, very, very good time.
Awesome.
All right, so here we are at the main highway. Gonna hang a right and aim our way back down into Palm Springs area. Climbing that big hill, all those red Porsches. What a trip. I kept imagining like some old boy stepping out of his ranch house out in the middle of nowhere and seeing that big string of Porsches go by. It would absolutely blow me away if I saw it. But if it was totally unexpected, it would be even better. Okay, so here we are in town, snapped a couple of still shots as we're sitting at stoplights and things like that. Really, really super fun day of running these cars around. There we go, aiming down into the Imperial Valley again, and making a left here, and this road is going to take us basically straight into Palm Springs, and just a block away from where the host hotel was. So driving across that open field there, looking at the clouds that thankfully kept us dry, and checking out the wind farm as we roll through into Palm Springs area as well. In any case, here we are at Palm Springs. There's Marilyn Monroe lifting her skirt for us all to see. I stopped and grabbed myself a cookie and a cup of coffee and did a little wander around town. Of course, there's a few other 356s rolling through town, snapped a couple shots there. There's a local car dealer auction company there that had some interesting old machines that were up for sale. And this upcoming weekend, they're running their biannual auction out there in Palm Springs that I plan on attending. It's the same place that I picked up the 53 Packard and a 48 chopped Mercury at one point years ago. So I always like seeing what they have for sale there, and I always look forward to the auction. If you want a deal on a modern Bentley, well, maybe this is your ride. And then I headed over to the Porsche Palm Springs dealership. Now, they are kind enough to basically clear out the showroom of modern cars so that we can park a bunch of the club cars in there and have a big event. I got there nice and early, so I was able to walk around, check everything out before the crowd showed up. The dealership had some of their cars parked in the showroom there, and some of the fun decor like that 550 Spider pedal car, and a couple of great speedsters that I believe that they did the restoration of. There's some fantastic artwork and stuff that's up on the walls in the facility. They've got a 2-story section with storage up above that they had some of the modern supercars parked in. It was fun to walk around up there and then look down upon the 356s down below. Some of these cars are special cars that I believe are owned by the dealership or being maintained by them. Others are ones that are being prepared for sale and things like that. But I love that view from up above. It was really super cool to look down upon the cars. In any case, as I'm walking around doing this, I see some of the other club people pulling up, and the event is going to get started. I did get a chance to see a very special GT4 RS Club Sport car that the dealership had there. This is basically a factory race car, carbon fiber, crazy supercar that's there. It's something that I believe had been sold, but in fact, I think it even says sold on the windshield or has a tag on it, so it may be a client's car. But this thing was wicked cool. We're talking lightweight, super minimal interior, and ready to rock. Loved the display that they had going on there with these early cars. Gorgeous speedsters. And walking around the outside of the place was awesome as well to see some of the other wild Porsches that were there. This Menthe GT Porsche was fantastic. But my favorite car in the showroom, of course, was mine. They actually allowed me to bring my crusty old 356 in and park it in the showroom, which was an absolute treat for me. I was really super tickled with that. So I used the opportunity to blow off as many pictures as I could from every possible angle before the crowd showed up for the event. I mean, it was really super special to see my old car in an actual Porsche showroom and to see it from all these different angles and stuff. It was really super special, and it definitely made my night, made me feel very special and very thankful that I was able to go and bring the car to share with everybody. In any case, let's see, I'm almost done with my beauty shots here, getting artsy, checking out the reflection in the glass from up above. And then people started showing up and checking things out. I love this dude with his hat and his dogs. That dog especially was just super cool. So I had to snap a couple pictures of him. And then more and more people started showing up. So there's outdoor parking where the majority of the club had cars, and then they had a few special cars that they were going to park inside as well. So, but just trippy to me to like check out the dealership building, which is a fantastic place, and then step in the door and see my own little Porsche sitting there with its history on display, and every dent and ding that has been put in it is still there and for all to see. Some more little cool passes through there with other cars that they had on display. This Carrera 4 was a beautiful car, and I believe that was for sale by the dealership there. I didn't dare ask how much. This gray 356 was one that they built there, kind of an outlaw car that was done for a Porsche dealership challenge. I saw that car up in Monterey when I brought my car up to show it at the big Porsche event there, and really beautiful work that they're doing there. They've got a full classic service center there on site, so if you've got a vintage car and it needs servicing and you want it done by the best hands, they will work on it right there at the Porsche dealership. So they have their modern service area, and they also have their vintage service area. Some of the techs there did a tech session for us on valve adjustment of the air-cooled Porsche engine, and they also showed some of the projects they were working on. Another thing that happened while I was there is there's a company called Vintage Trader that makes LED lights for the 6-volt Porsche system. And they were selling these units there, and the owner of the company was willing to install it right there in the showroom, which is fantastic. And being as I was going to be driving home at night, I was very much looking forward to the improved lighting on the 356. And I got to say, it makes a massive difference, really, really huge. So if you've got a 6-volt car and you're tired of dull lights, you've got to look that guy up, Vintage Trader. Check out the lineup of the 356s outside. A bunch of people showed up just for the party, cars that weren't involved with the tour. It was fun to see the 356 Club newsletter open with a picture of my car there. This particular 356 that was on display was fantastic. It was a proper pro-built rally car that's done Peking to Paris. It's done the South African rally, and it was killer. Everywhere you look, there were custom touches that were done for racing off-road on these big adventure rallies. The exhaust was routed through the fender up high so that it could do water crossings. It had these crazy big bash guards underneath it so that you wouldn't have to worry about wrecking your suspension underneath. And it was just really a special car. Dusty air conditions, air cleaners, extra oil filters, extra fuel capacity in there. It was a really special car. Neat build without a doubt, and really cool to see it open. The owner definitely allowed us to check it all out. Loved that particular car there and some of the others that were in the showroom as well. We had a fantastic meal that was cooked up by a local Mexican food place. Really tasty ice cream and churros for dessert. Some great announcements and chatting back and forth with club members. It was really a wonderful night and extremely enjoyable. I definitely plan on going again. But seeing my little doggy in the window there definitely made for a special night for me. That was a highlight. In any case, as the evening started to wear down and cars started to move out, I got my last few photos before setting off into the wild and trying to make it back up the hill. I decided I was going to go home that evening rather than stay the night because it really was looking like the Saturday event was going to be rained out. And they were really questioning as to whether they were going to do the drive up to Idlewild and down the Palms to Pines Highway on the Saturday. And looking at the weather report, it was definitely sketchy. So I grabbed my souvenirs, grabbed my keys, and headed out on the road with newly bright, beautiful headlights that allowed me to really see where I was going, making it up the hill and back to the lab. So back home for the evening, tucked the Porsche in the carport. And once safe at home, I went to bed and woke up to Saturday morning rain. So I stayed home for Saturday and then decided on Sunday morning I was going to hop back in the 356 and drive out to a Cars and Coffee at the local watering hole, Garage 79. I was met with some really interesting traffic down the valley on my way out of the house. I don't know what these guys were up to, but they seemed quite happy to be there, and they were well off the road. So I got back on the road, dealing with a little bit of rain this morning, but figuring what the heck, I might as well make the drive out to Garage 79, support my buddy Omar, and hopefully hang out with some other car people. Now, the weather was pretty sketch, I will admit. It wasn't raining hard, but it rained enough to get the wipers going here and there. But it made for a really fun drive, and obviously no traffic. Some areas where the sun was peeking out, which was had me hopeful. But I just love driving this car, and driving it on these big open roads is an absolute dream. Coming down the hill here, this is Highway 371, aiming towards Highway 79. The views as you're coming down the hill are fantastic. They just go forever. It's hard to capture that while driving, but I did my best. And again, looking forward to just a nice little morning of hanging out with car friends. So I pulled up in front of Garage 79 and realized that, well, it was just me. It was me and Omar, the owner of the bar, but we had a great little sit and chat about stuff. A couple other guys showed up eventually. Got some great photos of Omar's great place there. If you're ever in the area on Highway 79 through Warner Springs on the weekends, this little place, Garage 79, is open. He's got some great beers on tap, a whole bunch of other beers that you can buy in cans. There's sodas and stuff as well if you don't want anything alcoholic. And on busy weekends, he's actually got a food vendor that'll come in that varies. Might be barbecue, might be the grilled cheese guy, might be a variety of different local, food truck kind of guys that show up to feed everybody. But it's a great place. It really is, and I love what he's done with the decor. Obviously, it's right up my alley when it comes to cool old junk. He's got it very well curated and beautifully decorated, and it's been super fun to watch this venue grow into a great destination for people that are on their cars or on their motorcycles that are riding through the back country of San Diego. So definitely check out Garage 79 and say hello to all the crazy trinkets and stuff there. Have a good beer, have a good chat, say hello to the little Zen kitty, and then get back on the road. And get back on the road I did. A couple pictures outside of Omar's place there. The old car up on the roof with the big old arrow, the big old beer sign with the mobile horse on top of it. And I had front row parking as usual with my little car. So I got back in it, danced through the puddles, and made myself the way back home. So that's it, my long-winded tale of my adventures in the Porsche this weekend. I really hope you enjoyed cruising along with me, and I hope you subscribe and follow along for more of this craziness. I'm going to keep on doing it, and I'm happy to keep sharing it as well.